Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So for this video I thought to tell you all about just how exactly I became a Doctor Who fan. So let's dive into it. So I first started watching Doctor Who when it came back way back in 2005. I don't believe that I knew anything about it before then. The first episode I watched was Rose, the first episode of the revived series, or New Who. It of course starred Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper as the Ninth Doctor and Rose Tyler respectively. But I don't actually remember watching it when it first came out. I only know that I watched it because my mom remembers me watching it with her. Anyway, my first actual memory of the show was a memory of me watching Doctor Who Confidential, funnily enough. I remember an image of Christopher Eccleston with his leather jacket off in his trailer talking about the Doctor dancers, I believe. I then also remember an image of the actors playing the gas mask zombies standing in the railway station ready for a shot. So yeah, bit of an unusual first Doctor Who memory, but there we go. So I assume that I must have been watching the show quite often by this point if I was watching Doctor Who Confidential. Most of you will probably already know what Doctor Who Confidential is, but if you don't, it was basically a show that used to be shown on BBC Three over here in the UK. It gave a behind-the-scenes look at each Doctor Who episode from series 1 to 6 of the revived series. So anyway, whilst I do remember watching bits of Christopher Eccleston's time as a Doctor, I don't believe it was until David Tennant came along that I started to become a massive fan of the show, especially around about the gap between series 2 and 3 if I remember correctly. By the time Series 3 had finished, I was completely hooked. I started getting the Doctor Who Adventures magazine, which was a, back then, fortnightly kids magazine for the show. In each issue you used to get a free gift, and I especially remember all the numerous stationery sets and jars of slime that you used to get with it. I also started collecting various other forms of merchandise, from the vanilla volume DVDs to the character options action figures. I believe I may also have had some of the cards for the Battles in Time card game at some point too. It was also around about this time, 2007, that I first started watching the classic or original series of the show. I think the first classic story I ever watched was The Five Doctors on DVD, but not just the normal edition DVD that came later on. I mean the original 1999 special edition release. And for years the only version of that story that I'd ever seen was the special edition version that came with the DVD. It wasn't until many years later that I finally watched the original version and was surprised that I had grown up with the special edition for so many years. I was also quite shocked at how different the time scoop effect was in the original compared to the special edition. I quickly fell in love with the classics and came to like them just as much as the newer stuff. I particularly remember enjoying Patrick Troughton and Tom Baker, as well as William Hartnell, and to this day I still have a huge amount of fondness and love for those Doctors and their era. But David Tennant was always my Doctor growing up. He just was, and still is, the Doctor for me. His Doctor really inspired me when I was growing up, and he still is my favourite to this very day. I love most of his era, but I especially love when he was with Catherine Tate's Donna Noble for Series 4. I have so much nostalgic memories of that series in particular, and the 10th Doctor and Donna remain one of my all-time favourites Doctor and companion pairings to this very day. There were some other things, like the Doctor Who Time Squad and micro-universe figures that I also remember collecting, and I remember loving the Sarah Jane Adventures with Sarah Jane Smith and K9 becoming two of my favourite companions. I was so heartbroken and devastated when the late Elizabeth Sladen sadly passed away in 2011. I was also very upset when David Tennant left the show in January 2010, and to this very day I always get a little emotional whenever I watch his regeneration. But I quickly came to love Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, and even though I don't feel as positive about Smith's overall era now as I did back then, I still have a lot of fond, nostalgia-filled memories of his first series, Series 5. I used to love dressing up as the various Doctors, from Doctors 2, 4, 9, 10 and 11, to my very own fan-made Doctors. I remember going to see Doctor Who Live, The Monsters Are Coming. This was a live show where various monsters such as the Daleks, Cybermen and Silurians terrorised the audience with special pre-recorded clips of Matt Smith's 11th Doctor getting the audience to help him defeat the monsters after a character called Vorgenson unleashes them from his Minimizer. The show was implied to be a sort of sequel to the 1973 TV story Carnival of Monsters. I also went to Doctor Who Experience when it first opened at the Olympia in London back in 2011. I remember loving looking at the various costumes and props used. In addition, I went to Doctor Who events which were at the Excel Centre in London in 2013 and 2015 respectively. I particularly remember enjoying the live Q&As with some of the actors and other people then involved in the show, such as Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi and Stephen Moffat. There were also some others from the show's past, such as Peter Davison, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, for the show's 50th anniversary. I've also met some of the Doctors and companions at various conventions over the years, from the aforementioned Peter Davison to Billie Piper, and I got their autographs. But anyway, so there are some of my Doctor Who memories. The show's been a big part of my life since I was little, and it still is now, over 16 years later. I have so many happy memories of it, from watching the episodes and experiencing the various spin-offs, books, comics and audios, to going to events and meeting some of the people who have worked on it. I've also met many fellow fans and, of course, started my own YouTube channel because of the show. Anyway, so, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button below as well as press the bell icon at the side so you'll be notified of when all my new videos come out. This channel currently has 233 subscribers as of the time of writing and recording this video. But if we're able to get to 250 by the end of this year, then I will rank every single TV story from 1963 to the present. Also, please rate, comment below and let me know how you became a Doctor Who fan and what some of your memories are. And if you want to binge watch all of my videos so far, then there is a link to a playlist of all of them in the description box below. So, until next time, bye bye!